Picture it Los Angeles 2024.
Welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever gonna need to listen to. I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I am Kerri Doherty, and today we're doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of the Golden Girls and
you
offer
gotta do it
new...
lyrically. I love when we started doing the rewinds. You would do. Hold on, I'm gonna read it because you would do it in such a lyrical way. We're doing another Golden Girls rewind where we rewatch a favorite episode of whatever.
Okay, you want me to take it back? I'll take it back. Okay,
please.
Today we're doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch our favorite episodes of the Golden Girls and offer new insights since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014. There you go. It's more like a roller coaster.
Singing. It's like you're singing.
It's a little pitter patter, but not a pitter patter. And everyone, it is time to pour yourselves a sloe gin fizz and bust a Mama Celeste out of the freezer because we just rewatched season 1, episode 5, The Triangle.
Yeah, and why did we watch that? Why did we watch that, Miss Kerri Doherty Bush, Rand Vanderbilt?
Because I requested it.
Why?
Because it's my birthday.
Bing, 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 bing. Happy birthday. Or
I would like a Mr. Ha Ha hot dog.
Yes, you get one. You get one. Everyone gets one. How do you feel? Do you feel 28?
Well, technically, so we're recording this on Sunday night, and my birthday is Monday. So by the time everybody's hearing this, my birthday will have passed.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
it's your birthday week.
It's my birthday week, sure.
I mean, it's a very big week to have a birthday.
It is. So I've talked about this before. So every once in a blue moon, my birthday will fall on election day. And when I was living in New York, my birthday fell on the day that Obama was elected.
Wow.
And
memorable.
The streets went nuts. It was like my roommate had baked a cake. She was a teacher. People were out celebrating in the streets. And it was like, I was like, wow, I get to share my birthday with like such a huge moment in history right now. Yeah. So that was pretty incredible.
That is exciting.
Yes. Wow. Yes. So,
we should be considering that we are talking about the election. So we are recording this on Sunday before the election. So if you're listening on Wednesday or Thursday, we may or may not have a new president. We don't know, but
we don't know.
Fingers crossed. Maybe let's live in the future. Let's act like we're manifesting, right? Actually, no, that's bad luck. I'm not going to manifest anything. Just know that we don't know what's happening, and you know more than us because you're in the future and we're in the past right now.
But what I will say is that the Golden Girls are here for us, and for the next hour or so, no matter what's going on, we're here with the Golden Girls.
Michael had something when we previously did a similar thing on, I think, Rusty Anchor Happy Hour, which we should do the plug now. Go join our Golden Girls VIP, the Patreon, if you want the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour, because what are we talking about the happy hour today?
Oh my gosh. So I get these videos that pop up in my YouTube algorithm every once in a while. And then I want to talk about our YouTube algorithms before we get into the episode, because I feel like you and I were having a little bit of a conversation before we started recording.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, I'll get a video that's like, dark secrets the Golden Girls tried to hide. And I'm like, what is this? I have so many thoughts, and
I'm so furious.
So one of them popped up, and I was like, all right, you know what? Sure, bring it on. Sure, yeah. Tell me. So we're going to talk about that in the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour today. We also have our next Golden Girls Live Watch Along Party happening Saturday, November 17th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Voting is already open to those in the $8 a month Miami Program Director tier. So vote for which episode you want. And I have to say, we also, from last week's episode, got so much great feedback on our Luke McQuillan episode where we talked about the One Woman Beast show. Yes, he was an absolute gem. So many people were so excited to hear from him. And I got a lovely comment from Dan Kelly today. Hi, Dan. So Dan is Golden Girls Moments on Instagram.
Hi, Dan. Oh, hi, Dan. I love that.
Yeah, so it's all coming full circle. So Dan, actually, you and I had 2 questions on the podcast that Dan actually answered for us. So thank you for your service, Dan. So remember we talked about the she's in the attic joke on whether or not B stole it from the Golden Girls for her one-woman show. So Dan says She's in the Attic was a Pia reference that was adapted for the Golden Girls. Apparently and allegedly, Pia stunk up Diary of Anne Frank before Phyllis Hammerrow did. So it was so the Golden Girls actually stole it from a Pia Zador thing. So the other question you and I were sort of talking about was the name of B. Arthur's one-woman show, if it had ever changed. And Dan said the show first toured under the name And Then There's B before it went to Broadway.
And then there's B.
Exactly. I can't believe she didn't call it because it was like Just Between Friends, like just BEA, Between Friends.
Yeah.
Okay, based on your maybe she pitched it at one time and got that reaction, and she was like, "Okay, I won't do it."
I wanted to give the reaction that B. Arthur would have to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last thing Dan says about the show is that he said the show opened here in Minneapolis, and that's where I saw it.
Yes.
B actually
Dan told me this too. Yes.
B actually fell off the stage and into the orchestra pit. The poor dear. B. B.
We love Dan. Go follow Dan. Golden Girls Moments.
Golden Girls Moments and Shady Pines Ma 85. Those are our two.
Those are. I mean, there are many. There are many amazing Golden Girls
posters.
But those are the two that we know that we've connected with and that listen to this podcast. So that's why we're shouting them out. You want to shout out? Connect with us.
So anyway,
so before we get to YouTube algorithms, one of the reason why I set that up was because on the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour, we talk about sometimes like how the girls would do whatever happening in modern day stuff. You know what I mean? Like how they would do social media. So I was thinking, as Michael and I were talking about this, like how the girls would vote, how the girls would have voted. Now, I think we all can agree. I think you and I can definitely agree that Dorothy would be a massive Kamala Harris supporter. Massive. She would be the first day early voting started. She would be out there. We all know that she was not a fan of Trump, as she said it on the show. So that one is pretty certifiable. We could guarantee that. But the other 3, I wanted to get your take on how do you think, like what process would they go through in terms of who they would vote for this year?
Well, Blanche would make a whole thing of it. Blanche would get dressed to the nines to go vote. She would do it in person.
Yeah.
And I think she would go to a place where she knows there are going to be a lot of handsome men.
She would definitely use it as a dating opportunity. I do think that she would vote for Harris, not because she supports Harris, but because one time in an elevator, Donald Trump turned down her advances. I do think that is why she would vote the way she voted. She would vote out of spite, which
interesting.
Good for her. How you vote is how you vote, and that's how I think Blanche would vote. Rose? What about Rose?
Rose? I mean...
You know what I would think?
I could see Rose doing Mr. Terrific as a write-in.
Yeah. I could see Rose getting confused and doing
because she thinks that he is going to save the world.
I mean, I could see that. I can see that. I do think, though, there would be a moment in which Rose would initially be going for Trump only because she's seen him more on television. And then as soon as he started talking about the animals in Springfield and the eating of stuff, the animal person in Rose and Betty White, I mean, we know Betty White would, we know how Betty White vote. But like the animal person would definitely be like, no. So she would do a 180. Sophia's a little bit of a question for me. I don't know how she would vote. I don't know what direction she would go. I feel like she would probably not have realized that she could vote until Dorothy told her she could vote, because she probably always thought, I'm an immigrant, I can't vote.
Maybe.
Like, I could see her going her entire life and then making a thing of it and being like, I've never voted, but this year I'm voting. And then she probably would, to make Dorothy angry, come in with like a Make America Great Again, sort of very much like Karen on Will and Grace, the new version of Will and Grace, how they made Karen into this like crazy Trump supporter. And then at the end of the episode, Sophia would be like, well, I got the names confused. and I voted for Harris. And and then Dorothy would be happy, even though it wasn't an intended vote. Dorothy got what she wanted in the end too.
Interesting.
I can see that happening.
I could see that happening. I could also see Sophia being the type of person who always voted the way that Sal voted.
Oh, maybe.
And so maybe she just stopped voting when Sal died, and I could see Dorothy being like, "Ma, you know, you have this obligation, you have this responsibility, you have this privilege."
Or even, this is even more likely, because we know that Sophia is 183 years old because of her stories, and Joe Biden is also 183 years old. Maybe Sophia and Joe Biden go way back and nobody knows it until Election Day. And that's why she's voting for the first time, because she ran into Joe in Delaware.
It's a real like Bob Hope situation.
Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. Well,
YouTube algorithms.
I feel like we should save that for the Rusty Anchor Happy Hour now.
Sure, we can.
Yeah.
We totally can. Well, should we get into the episode?
Oh, I'm so excited to
this
talk
episode,
about.
Wait, before we even get into the episode, I do want to say something about this episode, because it is one of the first season episodes we sometimes, I would say, pass over. They're because of the story. And we talked about this on a recent episode, where the story and the way the story unfolds in the first and second seasons of the Golden Girls is very much in line with early 80s television, mid to early 80s television, where there often was like a serious moment and there was like a real story that unfolded, and the absurdity of the later seasons, the more slapsticky stuff, the influence of, other shows like Seinfeld, etc. I don't think doesn't really exist in this version of the show. And this episode is so good because of Blanche's lines. Blanche has so many good lines in this episode, so many good reactions. The close in this episode, even though it's like an underwritten gem that I think sometimes gets skipped over a lot of times or isn't talked about in the ether of Golden Girls conversations that we talk about, the episodes we talk about a lot, this episode is up there. This episode is good.
So one thing I love about this episode is, we talk about, obviously, one thing we love about the Golden Girls, it depicted women of a certain age having sex lives, dating, doing their thing. And these early seasons, like you're saying, their episodes are really character driven.
Yeah.
And what a great way to utilize being a woman of a certain age, dating, and kind of the relationship between Dorothy and Blanche in this episode. They've established Blanche. We're only 5 episodes in. They've established Blanche as, a
sex
very
kitten. Yeah.
What's that?
Very sex kitteny. Very like
very sex kitteny. Yeah. And it's like, there comes that moment where it's sort of dating and friendship intersect in
and where
kind
we learn
of a negative way
about Blanche. We'll get to it in the episode, but we learn so much about Blanche's character that in this episode, I think it's grounding the character of Blanche as more than just sex driven, that then allows her in future seasons to become even more sexual, because we know her as a good person. Her core and her values are actually very, very strong. And it's from this episode that I think we see that.
Yeah, they were really laying the groundwork for it. And we've talked about this. Blanche is probably the most three-dimensional character on the show. And this was them laying that groundwork, saying like, oh, her being, quote, a slut, a hussy. It's not it's not the joke that we keep going back to. It's actually incredibly layered. And fact check me on this, but did B. Arthur receive an Emmy nomination for this episode?
Oh, I don't think it was for this episode. I could be wrong, though. I could look into that, but I don't think it was for this episode.
Okay. It was on IMDb, and I was like, I don't know if that feels right.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an episode that she would submit for Emmy consideration. And if so, if this is the episode, we know why Betty White won that, because she won for Little Romance that year, which clearly that makes sense. Like that is obvious. But maybe, she is good in this episode. B. Arthur's great in every episode. So it's not like every episode's an Emmy nominated episode for me. Thank you.
The other thing I noticed in this episode, and then we'll take a break and get into it, and I feel like I say this a lot when we watch season 1 episodes, the first 10 episodes of the series the women's makeup is so much heavier.
Oh my
They
God,
have
Blanche's makeup and the fact that she had to stay in it throughout the entire episode as a makeup person, I'm looking at that. So I'm seeing like her in the same eyeshadow basically by the end of the episode. And it's like weeks have passed maybe, you know?
I really noticed it on Dor. I did notice Blanche at one point who had like a really smoky eye on, but like Rose especially, she had like the smokiest, most purple eye, like dark pinks and purples, like hot pink and purple lips, a lot of lip liner.
I
But
love it when they're glammed up. Ooh.
yeah, they're like they were a little too glam, and I have to wonder if that was the makeup artist trying to de-age them.
No, I think it was because I think wasn't there a shift in what they shot on from season 2 to 3 or something. I think there was a shift in the actual like cameras or like whatever they were shooting on. And I think because of the quality of what they were shooting on changed as the series progressed, I think their makeup evolved with it. Because like back in the day, I mean, in early television, not early television, but like even 70s television, you are painting you're not over dramatic painting, but you're definitely doing a theatrical paint. You're doing the contour is going to be contour, or the blush, you know what I mean? Like it's going to be stronger. Everything's going to be stronger. And as the series went on, the need for that really became less because the cameras became more crisp. Like the actual image, and you see it in the show too. You watch season 1 and you watch season 4 and you see the difference in video quality, you know?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was because they were, again, maybe just worried that the audience wasn't going to be super receptive to older women, so they were just trying to de-age them. And then maybe once the show started airing and they were like, oh, we don't need to do that, they kind of dialed it back.
I could see that being a thing too. The reason why I think maybe it was because of cameras and the theatrical of it is because of Blanche's eyes. Her eyes are particularly blown out in terms of the smoke and the lash. Like it's like almost like what someone on stage would do when you wear the big lashes because you want the person sitting back in row 4 to see your eyes as sort of really open and wide. And Blanche's eyes are like that. You see Blanche's eyes really opened in this episode, and the way I don't know if it's a lash that they put on or if it's the smoke or whatever it was. I couldn't.
Yeah, I definitely
I
know what scene you're talking about. Yeah, it was like I think a lot of it was her shadow. Yeah,
and eyeshadow. You see that in a lot of theatrical stuff because if she's standing behind the couch and the cameras is where it is, and then the action is happening with Dorothy sitting, you want to see Blanche's eyes from behind the couch, and so she would do that. In the newer seasons or the seasons that as we go on, you don't really need that because the depth of vision is going to be different.
Interesting.
Yeah. Makeup tips.
Makeup tips.
Well, let's take a break.
Yes.
Come right back. Oh, we'll be right back. Oh.
So this episode starts with Dorothy being worried about Sophia and her health. Sophia's blood pressure is a little high. She's tired. She's pale. And so she's got a new doctor coming over for a house call.
I always think I'm dying.
No,
whenever I have a pain,
think I'm dying.
If I like right now, I'm dealing with, I'm being blunt here. I'm dealing with some like backup, blockage situations in the intestinal situations because of the medicine I'm on. And I always just think, well, this is the end. If something doesn't move within a day, I'm gone. And I know that's not the case.
You think constipation is going to kill you?
You never know. And then
go get some Miralax.
I did.
Take a warm bath.
I have that. I have some prunes. I have some prune juice. I have a whole smoothie situation happening for the week.
Okay.
Like things are happening to make the movements. But I'm just saying, I do constantly think, and I look at how often I go to the doctor, and I'm like, no, I'm not dying. There's no way I can be dying with the amount often. I go to the doctor like every 3 months for fun.
Well, thank God that Dr. Elliot Clayton isn't your doctor, because when this man came over for a house call, he took Sophia's temperature and her blood pressure.
Yeah.
And was like, are you taking your medications? And she's like, when I remember. And he's like, well, that's got to be it. Like, did they really pay for that? Did they pay for that service?
What was wrong with her?
It just, Dorothy was worried about her. She was like, you're tired, you're pale, your blood pressure's been high. And he just came over, he took her blood pressure, he took her temperature with the mercury, the old school mercury thermometer, and then said, are you taking he said, well, your temperature's fine. Are you taking your medicine like as prescribed? And she's like, maybe. He's just like, do that.
He doesn't seem, but then again, he does use, which we'll see later, his doctorly ways to flirt and persuade. So, like, I'm just saying, maybe his whole MO is to not really be a good doctor and just use it to get his dickle wickled.
This feels like a catch me if you can situation. I don't think Dr. Elliot Clayton is a real doctor. I don't think that's his real name.
Yeah.
So Dr. Elliot Clayton is played by Peter Hansen. Who
he was handsome.
He was fine.
Oh, well, okay.
He was okay. He was all right.
I would. Listen, if I was in a locker room and he made a pass, I'd be like, sure.
Elliot made I love the way she does that. There's just something about her voice. That man, Peter Hansen, was on, can you guess? He was on General Hospital for a spell. Do you want to just take a guess at how many episodes of General Hospital he was on?
Oh, well, it's General Hospital. So, and if he was a regular, he probably was on like 1,000 plus.
2,130 episodes. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I mean, with no residuals, I don't think either. Like, can you imagine?
Probably not.
Wow.
No, because they shoot like an episode a day. It's like theater.
Crazy.
So, Dorothy flirts with them. She makes a date. They're going to go to Jack's Crab House tomorrow
Dorothy's
at 8 p.m.
outfit, it was a, what did he call it? A hammock. It's like a Korean style top. It wasn't quite a kimono. It was hammock. I can't say the word, but it's a Korean style sort of shirt. It would be the least flattering thing I ever wore, but
Same.
I want to wear it. But I want to wear it.
I want to wear every outfit that these women wore in this episode.
When Blanche comes back, I want to wear what she's wearing too. This
her
cute little dress,
wrap dress. Oh. I also love when she poses in the doorway. I love how often the blocking put Rue McClanahan posing in that doorway.
Yep.
I want a super cut of her, like the bathing in an inch of water, of her coming out in her wedding dress. Somebody give me a super cut of those moments of Blanche Devereaux posing in a doorway.
So good.
I'm Blanche Devereaux. That's French for Blanche Devereaux. She is so lost in this man's eyes.
Can I tell you I do that joke in my regular I do that joke in my regular life so much. Where
how do you say it?
With anything, I'll be like, well, God, give me something to say. I don't even know. This is lip gloss, and in French, it's lip, or as they say in France, it's lip gloss. Like I'll say as they say, and then I'll say the thing again. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why I do it, but I do it often.
I like that.
I don't.
Then why do you keep doing it?
Just filling up space before I have to die. You know what I mean? Just like filling up. I'm just trying to make the day go by.
Yep. Constipated and always just marching towards death. I mean, we're all dying.
Knock, knock, knock. Hi.
Here I am. I want you to take me, God. So I mean, Blanche is so mesmerized by this man. Dorothy notices and steps in, and I want to play that clip because it's just such a fun exchange between the two of them.
Yes, please.
Blanche, might I see you a moment?
Pardonnez-moi. Oh.
Listen, you keep your bloomers on, Scarlett. He's taking me out tomorrow night.
But he wants me. I can feel it.
Let somebody else feel it. I saw him first.
But we were meant for each other. I'm a woman, he's a man.
And what am I, Little Richard?
Great jokes.
Such good jokes. I mean, the fact that Dorothy put in a bloomers line, like this was the 1930s or something. Like, oh, so good.
I get bloomers whenever, like, little Oreo, well, not so much anymore. She doesn't really wear dresses that much, but But like with dresses, I would get little bloomers to go underneath them. They're really cute. And Stan would go like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
they're just like it's like little underwear to go over her diaper." So this is the moment that kicks everything off between Blanche and Dorothy.
Blanche gives up so easily, which in
She concedes.
like future Blanche would not do that. Future Blanche would put up a fight.
But Blanche's behavior and also I think she says like it sounds like she has a lot of dates lined up for that week, which I think makes it a little bit more believable where she says like, if he has any single doctor friends, I'm free Thursday, but no other night or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
ill.
but she
I'm
does
ill on Thursday, which I love that.
Tell him I'm sick on Thursday. Stop on by.
Oh, yes, that's right cuz it's another doctor friend. So yeah, but she concedes. She's like, "All right, sure." I love when Elliot leaves, how Dorothy leans against the doorway and she goes, "Thank you for being a kind and generous God." Just so turned on.
She is hot, but she's not like horny. She's just turned on. You know what I mean? Like there isn't quite like the, "Oh my God, I'm mad about this guy." Like it isn't quite like she's like getting ready to go wash up.
She's mesmerized by this man. I think
Yes.
the way that Blanche was, where she's the whole like, "I do declare I haven't seen a man this handsome since I saw, Mr. John Forsythe play Hamlet at the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater."
Yeah.
Like her eyes do not leave him. And I think maybe also he's so mesmerizing, he's so charming, why it makes it so hard for Dorothy to believe Blanche.
Yeah.
The night of Dorothy's first date with Elliot, her shirt
Oh my God.
it's like
just
she raided Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
The
like
way-
she raided Will Smith's closet.
if I was Dorothy's date and she showed up dressed the way she did, I would be like, this is going to be interesting. Like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like, because Blanche shows up like you'd expect to a date. You know what I mean? That in a typical male-female relationship for their age and that time, Dorothy or Blanche shows up as you would expect. Dorothy shows up like a New York lesbian who got lost in Miami. And and you know what? I support it. I love it. Please. More lesbian.
I love the way she poses when she comes out. She
Me
like holds her
too.
sleeves out and just kind of like
She's feeling
swaying
it.
back and forth.
She is feeling it.
And then Blanche's dress. I love this dress so much. This is what I think of when I think of this episode is that like light purple and green. I don't know that we ever see it again on the series.
No, I don't think so. Because it almost felt too normal for Blanche. Like it felt too pedestrian for Blanche. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like
No.
in the scene where he comes over to pick her up. Yes, and then he flirts with her, right?
It's
that dress.
pedestrian.
For Blanche it is. For Blanche it is.
But what about it?
It's so how do I describe it? If I'm thinking of the same dress, which I think I am, it's the one where he flirts with her, right?
Yes.
Yes. So then it's the fabric is almost linen-y. It's like it isn't quite Blanche like sexy. It isn't quite up to Blanche's level of silks, etc. And I think because of that, it almost feels more, let me argue this, more like a Rose dress than a Blanche dress because of the fabric and the way it's styled. There's nothing, it's almost too plain for Blanche, in my opinion.
Interesting. I think it looks great
I love
on
it.
her.
Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's very 1980s. It's very Mary Tyler Moore and Ordinary People. It's very, it's a great little dress, but it's just not Blanche to me.
Interesting. Maybe that's why she didn't wear it again.
Yeah,
I also
probably.
love that she gets that dressed up for a night in reading a book meanwhile Rose is just wearing sweats. Like
You know what?
Rose is like
Sometimes this is what on some days where I have nothing to do, which is rare these days, but on days that I have nothing to do, if I'm feeling some kind of way and I'm not feeling good and I'm not feeling productive and I'm not feeling like I am, wanting to get through the day, I will go put on some makeup. I will make myself presentable only to myself and to Michael in the apartment here. And it will make me feel so good. And I'll likely go do the dishes or do something productive after that because I will feel like I'm doing something. So I get it. Sometimes you just want to feel like the shit. Sometimes you want to feel like you're just like you're hot shit. And even if you're just at home, feel like you're hot shit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get shit done. If you do that, trust me, you will get shit done because you'll feel inspired to because you put yourself together.
Mm-hmm. You're like, well, I better go do something with myself now.
Yeah.
So Dorothy, even though she's wearing, I love her Fresh Prince of Bel-Air shirt. She's, Blanche is like, convinces her to change, as they always do, poor Dorothy, just like in, Forgive Me, Father.
Yeah.
So Dorothy and Rose go back to Dorothy's room to pick out a new outfit as Elliot comes by. And Blanche offers to make him a drink. And I think this might be the only episode where we see a drink cart where the TV usually is.
I don't know. I think in the episode where Sophia has like a heart attack or whatever, not a heart attack, but where she has like the heart thing and then I realized she just ate a bunch of goobers that day or something. I think in that episode, there's a table or some sort of cart in the spot where the drink cart is in this episode. I
don't think so. I think that's closer to the door that goes into the kitchen.
No, maybe, but I feel like something was there. I feel like there's another episode where there's something, because I remember thinking that. There's also the episode too where, I guess we never see the television, at least like from their perspective. We never see the television.
No.
But we do know that in the future, a television exists there. Yeah, interesting.
I also looked up a recipe for a sloe gin fizz.
Doesn't sound good.
I enjoy gin. There was a summer when I lived in New York where all I drank was gin and tonic with lime. Oh, it was so good. It was my drink.
Tonic? Ugh.
So I always assumed it was slow, SLOW, slow gin fizz, because I was like, oh, maybe it's like a Southern thing. So it's actually SLOE. So slow gin is a type of a gin, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
So a slow gin fizz, if anybody wants to make one at home, it's actually pretty easy. And it feels very believable that the women would have this lying around.
Yeah.
1.5 ounces of slow gin, 1 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 ounces of simple syrup, club soda to top, lemon wedge, and a cherry.
Nice. So no tonic. I'm in. I'm on board.
Yeah, no tonic. Little bit. Are you okay with a club soda?
I am. I love a club soda, but not a tonic. Ugh.
Yeah. It's
also,
not for everybody.
Not that I'm counting calories, but there's lots of, I've always remembered this. People are always telling me there's lots of calories in tonic. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
There is. You might as well be drinking soda. Yeah.
But, which I also will drink the soda too. I'm just saying, like, that's another case for club soda. There's no calories.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I drink, me, drinking my Spindrifts. I love those
things.
Well, I do want to. So as she's making him a drink and in no way flirting with him.
Not at all.
He comes on to her. Yeah, it's so icky. But
it is
I do want to play this moment because the way she like stands up for herself, I really like.
Blanche, you feel all right? Feel a little flushed to me.
I do?
Yeah, let me check your pulse. Ooh, it's racing. You know what? So is mine.
I beg your pardon?
You are a very attractive woman, Blanche.
I know.
Very attractive.
Now, wait a minute. What are you doing? How dare you? What kind of a woman do you think I am?
Come on, relax.
Relax? Don't you tell me to relax.
I love the way she punches him. Don't you tell me to relax. She doesn't even finish her sentence.
His voice, when you listen to his voice, John Hanson, is it Hanson or Handsome? I don't know.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
My fantasy. But his voice is so leathery and just it has a cadence to it that makes you want to listen to him. It's just like it's so. I mean, he has such like a thing. Also, in this scene, wait, I forgot what I was going to say now. I had another thing after that. Oh well, it's fine. Oh no, I lost it.
Oh no, you had it.
I had it and it's gone. I had it and it's gone. It's gone. It'll come back to me. Keep talking. I'll...
What a disgrace to the medical profession.
Yeah,
this man.
He really is.
Using his
Yeah, just icky. Just icky.
Get the fuck out of here, Dr. Elliot Clayton.
Oh.
So she handles herself in a great way. She's like, Dorothy's my friend. I don't do stuff like that. Yeah. And then Dorothy comes. They go to the date. Like Blanche is sort of left feeling stunned. And
I mean, it's a weird position to be in, especially as the date is about to happen. He's in your home. How are you going to take her aside?
Dorothy's been seeing him like all week or the last 2 weeks or whatever. Like,
yeah, I don't believe that Dorothy's in danger or anything, but I also know that like in that moment, I can't disrupt this. Like, I think Blanche handled it exactly how I would handle it in that, like, I'll just wait till Dorothy's home, or like, you know, we'll wait till we have a calm place to talk about this, because right now is not the moment.
well, and remember, she doesn't even want to say anything at first.
Yeah.
Rose is the one who wants to say something.
Yeah.
So when Rose comes back out and after Dorothy and Elliot leave, she's like, there's something about him that I don't like. And Rose, I think, actually has really good instincts and like gut checks when it comes to reading people, because she
always
thought the
has,
same thing
the
about
entire
Harry
series.
in
Yep,
the pilot.
The
Yeah.
entire series. Rose's instincts, no matter how naive, were always on point.
Yeah. She's got a really good red flag reader when it comes to men.
Yeah.
But Blanche.
And she also murders them when she has sex with them.
And she murders them. Yeah.
Yes. We should, on that note, because of death, we should take a break and then come back after that. I'll be here. I swear. I think I'll be here.
So Blanche doesn't actually want to tell Dorothy at first because of the last time she was in a similar situation in high school where she lost Anderbo.
Yeah, she lost her friend, which is such a sad state of affairs. But like, I can also, because of the way Blanche is, I can see why that would happen, and I could see how that would happen. Like, it's like it makes sense, but it doesn't hurt any less.
Yeah, and Blanche isn't wrong, obviously, when she does actually tell Dorothy. But Rose points out, she's like, look, if you don't tell her now, like, what if Dorothy ends up marrying Elliot?
Yeah.
Then you've just ruined her life. And they do the whole thing about Little Mayling's coming out party, and Elliot's bonged every female member of the country club. I just love hearing Rose say bonged.
I know, it's so weird.
What would you do if you were in that situation that Blanche was in?
Oh, if I was Blanche.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I agree with Rose in that, like, I would tell my friend. I would have to tell my friend in some way, no matter how uncomfortable it would be, because, well, yeah, I would have to tell my friend. For a moment there, I was thinking like, oh, well, it's just a little flirt, whatever. Like, you know, I'm flirting all the time. Like, but that was creepy. That was proposition.
It was
almost.
egregious.
That was definitely out of place, and it wasn't like a cutesy flirt. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like a playful flirt like mine would be. It's like there's an intention behind it that is suspicious. And but I mean, yeah. So I would tell my friend. I would be like, no, this isn't.
Yeah.
And
I would too.
I would hope that my friend would understand. And then after a while, if Dorothy reacted in the way that we see she reacts, like, I think I don't think I would get angry about her not believing me. I would get angry if she immediately went to, you're a slut. But I would get angry, or I would react angrily to that. But if she just didn't believe me, I would be hurt, but I would be like, okay, well, maybe I misjudged my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's funny that you made that point, because then later when Blanche does tell Dorothy, because Rose has convinced her to, and she does the Elliot made. And I love that when she's saying that, she's pointing to the bar cart, like she's like reliving it, like it happened right there. Elliot made. Since she was pointing to the bar cart, I was like, oh, that could have been funny because she's like, he made what? Like a macrame, whatever she said is unrelated. But I was like, oh, it would have been funny if she actually said the name of a cocktail, because she's pointing at the bar cart.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down all the things that Dorothy called Blanche in this moment where she says she doesn't believe her. She said, you're jealous because you're not getting the attention. She says she could never be a real friend to another woman because she's a slut. And then Dorothy calls her an amoral, backstabbing, self-centered Jezebel.
I mean, it's so interesting, and I'm dealing with this right now with a friend, that when you hear a friend's perspective about you when you're in a disagreement or you're in a moment of contention, and you're kind of taken aback when you think how your friend views you, which feels like out of left field. It doesn't feel like how you view them. And then that makes you question a lot of things, of course, but it also like, it's really jarring because like when someone comes at you and sort of attacks you in such a personal way, it almost feels like they've been stewing on it. Like they've been thinking about that for a while, that they've been thinking that about you for a while and just keeping it to themselves. And that almost hurts more than the words, you know?
Yeah. I thought Dorothy was so out of pocket here.
I agree. I will always stand up for Miss Dorothy, but like this moment, she went a little too harsh. Like you can make a joke about it. You can totally make a joke about it. Like, listen, I'm a slutty bitch. Like you can totally make fun of me being a slutty bitch. Like you can. And I'm game for it. And I'll come back at you with being a boring bitch. You know what I mean? Like, great, let's volley. But you don't need to cut low like that.
No, and I agree with you that if she just didn't believe her and said like, "Oh, you know, he's a flirty person, maybe I appreciate it, but whatever." But she went a step further and said, like, you are intentionally lying to me because you're jealous and you can't be a real friend to any woman because you're a slut. Like
it was a character assassination.
It was a character assassination.
And even if Dorothy had been like, yeah, sure, this dude's a flirt, and you are the way that you are, which okay, like no judgment, but like we're different and we approach these things differently. So like I'm an adult and if I get hurt, this is what is meant to be, but I'm going to stick this one out. But thank you for telling me, but I am going to continue doing what I do. And at that point I would be like, great, I'm gonna go sit on a dick.
Yeah,
cool.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fine.
Like I'm gonna go live my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so crude this episode. I'm dying and I'm crude.
No.
What a way to go.
I know. You're leaving such a legacy behind. Did you notice the act break music? Blanche storms off all angry, and it played the upbeat end of episode music. So she stormed off, and it was like da 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 da.
I didn't
and I was
notice
like,
that.
no, that's so wrong.
That's what I'm saying about these early episodes, that they're kind of stuck in that weird mid-'80s Cosby Show-esque like layout of an episode that comedies were supposed to be in. And then of course as they went on, they found their own way of being. But yeah, it was interesting music choice. So the next morning there is so much tension around the kitchen table and so much purple. So much purple.
Sophia's wearing this like kind of purple, orange, brown, almost like checkered shirt that I really liked. With an apron, of course, to like, make her feel like a grandma. Yeah. And then Blanche had that very kind of modest purple and white robe that kind of cuts up really high. And then Rose was wearing a beautiful like floral wrap dress. It was just memorable outfits from
memorable
head to toe.
This entire episode, all four of them.
And everybody's mad. Blanche is mad at Rose. Sophia's mad that everything happens to me because she's making it about herself. Dorothy comes in. She's mad at Blanche. Blanche is mad at Dorothy. Dorothy, I thought this was just like a fun, like, I don't know, character choice. She pours herself essentially like a shot of OJ and shoots it back. Dorothy does. Like she's just pissed and she's coming to the bar and she takes a shot.
There is something citrusy about it that would just give me so much heartburn.
Just a little sip like that?
I mean, doing a shot like that. Like I really have to sip an orange juice. Like I have to kind of do a dainty, like, you know what I mean? Like I can't do a gulp like I could with apple juice. Ooh, love an apple juice.
I like apple juice. I love room temperature, fresh squeezed orange juice. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because that's gross.
It's not gross.
Room temperature?
Well, when you squeeze an orange and you get orange juice out of the orange.
I guess that's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like warm OJ.
I mean,
I was at years ago, my boyfriend at the time was working and touring in the UK, and we went to Edinburgh. I went to visit him.
Oh,
and we stayed at this really nice hotel right downtown, beautiful. And you'd go down and you order breakfast, and then there was this little nook off to the side where you could make your own fresh squeezed orange juice. They had like a little machine, and you put the oranges in, it would cut them and it would squeeze it. And it was the best tasting orange juice I've ever had. And that was the moment when I was like, orange juice at room temperature is so good.
Interesting. I don't know if I am with you on that one. Although I will say, for all of our UK listeners, I do love in Edinburgh. I've been there a few times. I've performed there.
You've
I've
been
done
to the
many
castle.
things. I have. I've done many
You've been
things
to
there.
the
Oh God, it would be such a dream to bring this podcast to the UK. Do you know how many?
Kidding me?
Do you know how many
I
Golden
love
Girls
it.
fans are in the UK? It is insane. We need to make something happen around that because I feel strong. UK listeners, do whatever you're supposed to do to tell other people that you want us there, because I want to be there and I want to talk about Golden Girls with British people, and I want everyone to be drinking tea.
I'd love that. Sign me up.
Make it happen, UK.
Sign me up. So Elliot comes over to pick up Dorothy. They have been seeing a lot of each other, by the way. They just saw each other the night before. Now they're getting ready to hang out. Like,
when you were, no, I will say Michael and I were like that in the beginning, and then every day since. But before Michael, I was never like that. Maybe that's an indication that it's going to work. I don't know. But like, I never was one to be with somebody. Like, if I spent the night with someone, I'd be like, yo, I'll see you in 4 days. Like, I got shit to do. Like, I'm busy. But with Michael, it was different. So maybe, I don't know, maybe.
would you see each other every day or just talk every day?
Pretty much see each other every day.
Wow. Oh, that's sweet.
I know. I mean, back, like, I'm thinking back. I mean, we definitely have communicated every single day since we first met. But we pretty much have just seen it, except for when I'm traveling and stuff. Like if I have to go somewhere for like work or performing or whatever. But yeah, no, we've basically seen each other every single day since. So maybe there's something to it.
That's sweet.
I'm dying.
My goodness. So Dorothy actually confronts Elliot in front of Rose and Blanche before they go.
Yeah.
And she says, did you make a pass at Blanche?
So awkward. Because of course this fucker's going to say no. Of course he's going to say whatever he says.
It is awkward that she does it right in front of them.
So weird.
So what he actually says is, she says, did you make a pass at Blanche? And he goes, absolutely not. Now, I've been watching these YouTube videos by the body language experts.
Oh, brother.
And there are people who, it's like a panel of experts who are, some of them are actually like body language experts. Some of them are experts in like deceit and lying. Anyway, they've like worked for the FBI. They say when someone says absolutely not, they're overcorrecting.
Which, I mean, that's why if I ever, and again, this is the true crime person in me coming out, but if you're ever questioned by police, don't answer questions, always get a lawyer, always get a lawyer. But if I was answering questions, I would be the one that everyone would suspect, because I am always the one being like, you know, they'll ask something like, did you do this? And I'll be like, well, no, I didn't do it. But like, I can see a world in which I would, like, I don't, because we had this thing. And like, I would over explain.
You're like doing their job for them.
Exactly. And I would then be arrested. So like, get a lawyer always, guys. Never talk.
Always get a lawyer.
Talk.
Yeah.
Always get a lawyer,
you can say, you say, I want a lawyer. Those words, I want a lawyer. I will not talk until I have a lawyer. They have to get you a lawyer at that point.
They have to do that.
He says, absolutely not, lying through his teeth. Dorothy calls Blanche pathetic.
I mean, it is like, oh, Dorothy. I mean, the New Yorker and her run strong because she is mean.
And look, we know that this is coming from a place of insecurity with Dorothy, right?
Yes.
She changed her outfit how many times, even after she'd been seeing Elliot for the week. Like, we get it, you're insecure, but like this, again, so out of pocket. And I'm so glad that Blanche stood up for herself. Blanche said she's never felt so betrayed in her life. And she's like, you got to get out of my house. You can't live here, to Dorothy, which like, good for you.
I agree. And I love the moment of Rose being like,
Like a little puppy.
Yeah.
I'm torn. So do you think, would Sophia stay? You think if Dorothy moved out?
I don't think so. I think Sophia would have to go too.
Yeah, because they never mention anything about it if Sophia would also go. But I guess when Dorothy moved out and married, Leslie Nielsen, she didn't. So later that night, Rose is up late. She can't sleep. She's eating Oreos and milk.
I was doing that last night.
You were?
Yeah, I had some Oreos with milk.
Oh, I love
Except Michael
Oreos
gets
and
the
milk.
mega stuff ones, and they piss
I
me
love
off.
those ones.
They piss me off so
I love
much
the double stuff.
because it's not double stuff. It's mega stuff.
Oh, I don't know a mega stuffed.
Double stuff I can get into. Mega stuff is too much.
How
It's
big are
just
these? Do you have one? Do you have any left?
Let me go get one. Stand by.
All right, I'm going to keep talking. Oh, man. Oh, Oreos. They're so good. You can't leave them in the milk for too long, though, or else they get too mushy, All right, we've got our Oreos. You found one?
Yes. So I did the annoying thing where I was the last to eat the Oreos and I only left 2 in the box. But,
Okay, if you're watching this on video, you can see how stuffed this is.
Do you see how much stuffing is in that Oreo?
It looks like a double stuff to me.
It is not a double stuff. I
It's
don't
more
have a
than a
double
double
stuff
stuff.
here. There is so much cream in this Oreo.
Oh, your nails look great.
Thank you. Did them last night too. I did my nails when I ate some Oreos. But look at that cream.
Your nails kind of reflect your Oreos.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't have a double stuff to compare it to, but
and now I have to eat this Oreo.
Oh God, join the Patreon just to watch. All right, you eat your Oreo.
What is good about it is the cream becomes the snack before the 2 cookies because then there's the top and the bottom. So it's almost like a 3-tier snack.
Sure. I can't believe that is a dry Oreo. You need something to wash it down. Yeah, you're just
I got water here. I'm good.
All right, get your water. Dip it in the water if you have to. So I liked in this scene, I did like that Rose was eating the Oreos and milk because don't bust out a cheesecake if it's just you because you're going to end up, it's going to be 4:00 in the morning. You've just eaten an entire cheesecake. Sophia comes out. She also can't sleep. She tells her Mama Celeste story, which is fabulous, fabulous story.
Yes, very much so.
Yes,
Sorry.
So Rose is like, look, I can't just sit by and let Blanche and Dorothy throw their friendship away over this. I have to do something. And I love Rose in this episode.
I do too. You gotta find a way to, you have to, especially if you're in a friend group like this, you have to find a way to make it work for everybody because you want that unit to work because there's a ride or die situation that you have to commit to,
And what's interesting to me is that Rose hasn't said to Dorothy, hey, Blanche told me after you left, I believe her. I also get a weird feeling about this. She's not doing that. Her plan is actually to try to catch Elliot in the act. So the next day when he comes by.
I love this about Rose. I love episodes where Rose is the smartest one in the room. If you think about it here, Dorothy is the dumb one here. She's being the dummy, and Rose is being the smart one here, both in terms of how she's reacting to Blanche and how she's reacting to Dorothy. She's keeping the peace while at the same time showing them both the error of their ways.
And thank God every time Elliot comes to pick Dorothy up for a date, she's never ready and has to go back to her room.
I don't know
thus
what she's
allowing
doing.
Elliot to be alone with the other women.
She's wearing kimonos.
So this is when Rose puts her plan into action. And I just want to play the beginning of it so you can see the moment where Rose is shutting the door. The idea is coming into her head and she falls into Sue Ann Nivens.
Yes.
It's such a great non-dialogue acting moment for Miss Betty White.
Blanche, you feel all right? Feel a little flushed to me.
I do?
Yeah, let me check your pulse. Ooh, it's racing. You know what? So is mine.
I beg your pardon?
You are a very attractive woman, Blanche.
I know.
Very attractive.
Now, wait a minute. What are you doing? How dare you? What kind of a woman do you think I am?
Come on, relax.
Relax. Don't you tell me to relax.
When, like I said before, when Rose, it reminds me of on the Golden Palace when they get robbed and Rose picks up the phone and calls the police and gives the details of the suspect. And then, of course, it turns into a Rose bit because she like screwed up something at the end of the call.
She called 411 instead.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, this is 411? Do you have the number for 911?
Like that, was perfect writing on their part. But I love the moments where Rose shows herself to be more than what we believe she is capable of. And that is always lovely.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to see. It's fun to see that side of Rose. Like her voice drops down a little bit deeper, and then she gets him to admit what he did. Like she's like, because he's like, you're not really my type, but she's like, but Blanche is.
You know what's
you
crazy?
Thought that the other night.
When Dorothy then sees all this and everything that happens, and she says, I really have nothing. You really don't. I mean, she's so casual with it. She's like, don't call me. I really have nothing else to say to you. Like, it's very, she sits down. The power dynamics are so the Godfather-esque in that she's sitting on the chair. He's standing above her, basically begging. And it's this weird tango, and she is just so relaxed. She's just so confident. And that's something that I love about Dorothy is that, like it or not, her opinion you might not agree with, but when she makes up her mind is made.
Yep. Yeah. There's no point. Yeah. You're done. I'm through with you.
You're done to me.
I was surprised at how quickly Elliot admitted to hitting on Blanche. Like he was like, no, she made it up. And Rose was like, no, she didn't.
It was almost the 3 beats. You know what I mean? Where he kept saying, no. It was just something playful. Like, I mean, it was like, it was almost like Rose was wooing it out of him, obviously. And he at the end realized it would have been a lot easier just to end this situation by casually telling Rose it was nothing. It was taken out of,
but that's not what he said. He said like, yeah, okay, but nothing came of it. So
yeah.
I guess it's like, what's the plan at that point? But yeah, maybe it's that he wants Rose to stop talking for when Dorothy comes in. But it's like, once Rose tells Dorothy, like
it's a fight or flight situation. It's like when someone gets caught in a lie, the reasons why you do the things you do often are very instinctual and not thought out,
Either that, or maybe he was trying to isolate Dorothy from her friends and her support system, because then if Rose were to go to Dorothy, he would say, no, she's lying too. I don't know if Dorothy would.
More true crime in this episode. This is basically Dateline, y'all.
Yeah, but I don't know if Dorothy, if Rose said it too, then I think Dorothy would have believed her. And Elliot wouldn't have been able to isolate her from her support system.
Well, Dorothy does feel bad at this point, and she, obviously rushes back. I mean, before Rose is like, yeah, you were wrong. And then, of course, Dorothy hears it.
Oh, Dorothy. And then the way that Betty, the way that
it's
she,
the way she was
so
scared
great.
Is so good. But the interaction between Dorothy and Rue, I loved Rue doing something that I do often, which is you're sitting at your vanity and you're layering your scents. Everyone out there, if don't just spray one spritz and go. I mean, do it if that makes you happy. But there is something so wonderful to layering your perfumes, which is what Rue is doing at the vanity. She has one bottle that's blue, and then she picks up the purple bottle and she layers it in a different way, and it just creates these notes so that whenever she's turning on one side and then to the left, you're going to get a different scent, and it's a different profile in every which way you're moving, either if she's walking forward or if she's turning. I mean, it's just perfume 101.
So I've never layered scents before, but let me ask you something, because when we went to Golden Con and you or Sadie, you showed me how you layered scents. And I was like, wow, I never knew that you could do that before. How do you know if scents are compatible with each other and that you're not going to end up like spraying two things together that don't mesh well together?
Usually within the families, I mean, there's some breakdown of it, but there's like four scents that perfumes often fall in, and it's usually like a floral, a natural sort of thing, a woodsy, whatever, like a sweet. Like there's definitely different things, and I like to keep it within those families, but a little bit adjacent. So if I'm doing like a Gucci Bloom, which is like a floral, which is something that I wear often in drag, but then all of a sudden I want to do, something that's Henry Rose, which is Michelle Pfeiffer's brand, which is a bit more like leathery and woodsy and earthy in a way. So if I'm doing that, I'm going to put the Bloom in like the front profile because I want that to be like the thing that you hit. But then when I'm walking away, I want you to smell a little bit of a forest. I want you to
Where do you spray that?
I put it usually behind me. I usually put it like in the hair often is usually where that goes, or like behind the neck, depending upon what the hairstyle is, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like you put it so that as you're moving, it like goes with you.
All right. You learn something new every day.
There you
go. With Dorothy's apology, she admits that she didn't believe Blanche because she didn't want to believe it, but she never, and Blanche accepts her apology, but Dorothy never says, like, I'm so sorry I called you all those names. I don't actually believe that about you.
I wasn't bothered by that because I think when you're ride or die, when you have friends that are like that, those things, while they were hurtful, I'm kind of like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I don't know. There's just something about like the unwritten communication between friends where it's like, because I mean, I think in some way too, Rue even probably acknowledges that like, it's probably hard for Dorothy to admit that she was wrong in this situation or apologize for the things that she said because Dorothy is often right.
But don't you think, like, wouldn't you be left wondering, like, oh my God, does my friend really think all those terrible things about me?
I don't think I would be because, to me, the friendship matters more than my own feelings. And it's like the unit is what is important in this situation. And so, like, and I really respect that Rue is so quick to accept her apology because that's how I would react in that situation. I want my friend back.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the episode.
So fun. Should we take a break and come back with our golden takeaways?
Yes.
Oh my God. Layers and perfumes. And we are back with our golden takeaways, which is a nugget of truth or inspiration that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Kerri, Doherty, Bush, Mayfair, what is your golden takeaway from this episode?
And speaking to like just friendships and relationships and stuff, and it being like, my birthday week where I, get a little bit older, get a little bit more perspective on life. I have really been making it a point to only have people in my life who are filling up my cup and who are not draining my cup. And I think, life's too short and you don't have to, I'm done worrying about other people's feelings when they're not considerate of my own. And so, yeah, I'm in like the season of trimming the fat, so to speak, of really only surrounding myself with people who make me feel good about myself. And people who I enjoy being around and who it's easy to have a friendship with, and, friends who, whenever conflict arises, you're able to work it out in a very emotionally healthy way.
It's important. Those people are important.
Yeah.
Which is now making me question why you sent me that text earlier being like, we need to have a talk.
No,
oh, stop. I did not. But but that's what I appreciate about our friendship so much. I think it has been probably, I can't remember the last time you and I had like a big disagreement about something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like to me, the mark of any great friendship is when you don't have to think about how you work with that person or
Mm-hmm.
communicate or interact or who they meet or what they know or any of those things. Like, it's just, I don't think, like, I don't think about what I don't think about anything. I can just
No, is that
communicate
that's
with you.
exactly how I
Like,
feel. Is that
yeah.
I don't have to think. I don't have to think about like, oh, am I bothering them? Oh, am I gonna, oh, is my
Am I gonna
tone? Oh, am I
hurt
gonna
you? Am
be,
I gonna like
oh, am I
yeah,
gonna, yeah,
all
there's
of the things. It's like
no,
when you don't
there's,
have that, God, that's such a wonderful space to be in.
yeah, that's so
As an
funny
adult, as an adult.
as an adult. Yeah.
It's a really safe, wonderful place. And for me, as I've gotten older, at this ripe age of 28,
Yes,
I
yes.
I have realized that like that is something to really be grateful for. That like those people that you don't have to think you think about a lot, obviously, because they're in your life always, but like you don't have to think about any way in which, and you know that if something happens, yeah, of course they'll be there, but also if they're busy, it's like, well, I know their heart. I know where they're coming from. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to think or worry or stress about how I exist around this human being because I know that this human being is in me with me as a human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, you not texting me back or something like because like I don't like that's not rejection. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
it's just like I
Totally.
never think, oh, is HAlan mad at me? If like I
Yeah.
don't hear from
Yeah.
you for a second. And then when I
Yeah.
do, it's usually like, oh, hey, it was like, crazy busy day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's normally what it is. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, I
I
love
do. I
that. I
appreciate
love
that we
that.
don't have to think in this friendship.
I
So there.
know. It's so
Take that, other
lovely.
friendships.
Yeah, bitches.
What is your golden takeaway?
My golden takeaway from this episode is I'm not sure how I feel about Miralax yet. I that's a starter. And it really wasn't related to this episode, but this episode of the podcast, that was my golden takeaway. But my golden takeaway from this actual episode is that I think more people should be layering perfumes. I think you should. There's a perfume brand out there where you can like get little samples of perfume every month. Like you get it like a one or two or whatever, and it's so cute because you can put them in a little thing and then you put it in your bag. I love a little travel thing of perfume. I always have perfume with me wherever I go. I'll show you what I have with me at all times. I have my bag right here, and
Of course you do.
I always have a little Gucci Bloom, and I have a little Glossier, and they're just in little travel sticks.
I do like the little rollers.
And yeah, they're nice, and and it's just nice. It's just nice to show up and to be like, oh, someone took care. Someone spritzed a little something, and they were coming to see me, and they decided to put on a little spritz of something because they want to, I don't know, feel good about themselves, but also make me feel good because they wanted to feel good about themselves. I don't know. I just love it. I love what it does.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
I love what it says about me when I show up to see you.
Yeah. I appreciate and love all of your thoughtfulness with your perfumes and your makeups and how passionate you are about them.
Yeah.
It makes me want to join you on that adventure
It
and
literally
maybe
brings
get rid
me
of my fanny pack.
it brings me so much joy. This was my day to day. I had a lot of things going on, and I'm going to St. Louis to visit my folks in like a week, so I'm planning things, and then of course work with election day, and all these things are happening. And well, you guys are listening in the future, but for me, I'm still in the past. And I took a shower, and I had like a 2-hour window that I could casually get some things together. I could put my makeup on. I could, get myself together to be able to have this moment to record with you, to feel good about myself on camera and out on social media and all of the things. And it's just such like a joyful, relaxing process that then I'm also doing something so that I look good and feel good about myself so I can show up for my friend and do the thing that makes me happy. And then that makes me happy, and it makes you happy, and it makes you listening happy, and everyone that is its joy of happy. It's a domino of happiness, which is lovely, and I love it. So to me, that's what it does. It's like it just makes me feel good, and then I hope that then spirals into what you're listening right now. You feel good.
A domino of happiness. I feel like I just visualized every Golden Girls fan. We're all a domino, and we're all just knocking each other down.
I think that's what we're trying to do. I don't ever want to be mean to anyone.
That's what we're trying to do. Yes, that's what we're trying to do. What a lovely note to end this episode on. What a good one. Oh my gosh, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to Out on the Lanai. We'll catch you back here next week for more Golden Girls greatness. And in the meantime, head on over to patreon.com/Golden Girls podcast. Sign up. You can sign up for a free account and you can join for free. There is stuff that you can get for free, but of course you get most everything at the $5 and $8 a month tiers.
It's true, and you can follow us on social media. You can support us on Mom. We're part of Mom, Moguls of Media, so go support them. You can follow us at Golden Girls Pod on the Twits. You can go to Out on the Lanai Officials on the Grabbles. You can go to Golden Girls Pod on the Bookles, and I'm HAlanScott / Sadie Pines on everything else.
And I am Squidzy on Instagram and Squid Eat Squid on Twitter. And if you want to do something else lovely for the podcast, you can leave us a rating and a review wherever you get this podcast so that more Golden Girls fans discover us. That is
I voted.
That's your I voted sticker. Mine's on my refrigerator.
We're in the future, but I vote. I hate stickers, but I had to put this on something.
I like it.
I hate stickers. I hate them. But I love giving people stickers for the holidays. You have my sticker.
I love stickers. Yeah. Yes, I love my Sadie Pine stickers.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now, and remember.
Yep, here we go. As always, she's back.
Stay golden.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.